At long last, the year 2023 is coming to a close. We are in the middle of that week where everybody reflects on the good, the bad, and the ugly of the past 365 days, and then shoves it all to the side and makes resolutions that they hopefully will keep. I really don't have a lot to complain about. I think I had a pretty decent year. This is coming from both a personal and a content creation side of things. I have become a better person despite little mental ruts here and there. I accomplished a lot in my social and academic life. The channel is doing better than it ever has, and I've put more work into it this year than I have any other time. And I hope that all of these trends continue in the coming new year. But that's not exactly what this video is about. No, sir. It is about this thing. I've had this little gardening calendar on my desk since the very beginning of the year. And it had all of these pretty little pictures in it that I just couldn't bring myself to get rid of. So I went to my mom, as I often do, for advice, and she suggested that I cut them out, turn them into a collage, and frame it. And who am I to say no to my mother, honestly? It's drying over here right now. I'm recording this intro retroactively. So I'm gonna open this up, show you what's inside, and show you where I put everything. So this was the calendar that I had on my desk all year. I found it in a Barnes & Noble, and I thought all of the little gardening pictures were pretty and gave me something nice to look at every day. The exact artist isn't credited, but this is the company that makes it. If I can go on their website and find who the actual artist is, I will absolutely put their name in the video, because they deserve it. Thank you, random person at Cavallini & Co. for helping me keep my sanity a little bit this year. I guess just go right in and cut out all of these individual pages. Or I could just tear them. That works too. So many paper scraps to clean up after this. Let's begin at the beginning with our January picture. This was an entire year ago. What did I do in January? I pretty much spent this month doing nothing but playing Pokemon Violet because I had gotten it for Christmas for myself with my fancy new Switch that I haven't touched in a couple of weeks. Oopsie daisy. I still think that despite the well-warranted criticisms, it's in my top 5 Pokemon games of all time. I genuinely enjoyed playing it. I actually didn't encounter that many glitches when I was in my playthrough. I think the funniest one was that the static Iron Treads encounter after the Titan battle didn't work for me. It just kind of was stuck there. I also haven't played the DLC because I haven't had the money to buy it or time to sink into it like I did for the base game. And at first, I didn't want to because it just seemed kind of boring. But after seeing a handful of spoilers for Indigo Disc, now I really want it. So that's an investment that I'm going to make in the next couple months, I hope. Didn't really do a lot in February either, except for schoolwork and channel work. It was the month where I made this thingy. It was end of January into early February. Still one of the silliest little things I made. I think February was actually the turning point where I realized, oh heck, this YouTube thing might have a little bit of longevity to it, and I started taking it a little more seriously. It was something that I wanted to do, but I didn't start sticking with monthly uploads until I reached about that point. I hung a sign on my dorm room door. I don't think anybody actually looked at it and was like, I'll check it out. But I thought it was silly. Strawberries. So many things happened in March that happened one right after the other. I can't even remember them all. I'm trying to go through them right now. I had a very important music performance. I had my spring break, which was cut short because I was in She Kills Monsters. I performed as Tilly in She Kills Monsters, which is still my favorite role that I've done ever. I lost my voice during Tech Week. I don't think I ever said that. but it was just hilarious timing because I was doing so much other stuff for my degree that my voice was just so strained. I learned some hard lessons about taking care of myself and setting boundaries, and I have March 2023 to thank for that. Absolutely worth it though, would do it all again in a heartbeat. I'm gonna whip out the fancy scissors for April. April was the month that I started the D&D campaign that I built Indigo for. That campaign fizzled out because of stuff, as all good campaigns do, unfortunately. It was still one of the most fun D&D experiences that I've had up until this point, and I made a lot of great new friends through it who we are starting a new campaign with. We actually already started and did our session 1 a week or so ago, and I cannot wait to play more silly little games with these people. Aw, that's pretty. Looks like a little postcard for a stamp. As of May, I was halfway done with college. Pretty cool. I went to Longwood Gardens in Kennett Square with my best friend to celebrate the start of our summer break before we had to go do our jobs and not see each other, of course. It was the first time that I drove more than 2 hours consecutively to go to a place. And the radio in my car cut out to some gospel station randomly, thinking it was a traffic info station. Fun times. Fun times. Wait, May was also the month that Generation Lost came out, and that was like my favorite thing I watched this year. I'm so bad at talking today. I should have warmed up and like taken notes and stuff, but once an underpreparer, always an underpreparer. June. Started my summer job. Didn't like my summer job that much, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Made some cool things this month, I believe. I also find it very fitting that this herb garden picture has chicory on it because I also started playing the game Chicory, which is made by the same studio that did Night in the Woods, and I loved that game so much. Favorite discovery of the year that I didn't know was coming out. It's an older game too, it didn't come out this year, but the Switch eStore had a sale and I needed to buy something to play. If you're not familiar with it, it's a game about artistic burnout, and it just really hit home with me. I got water because my throat is killing me. Time to move on to July. I took a wonderful family vacation to the Outer Banks of North Carolina for a week in July. We rented this cute little beach house. It was adorable. I am not a big fan of the beach, so I didn't think I would like it as much as I did, but I really enjoyed it. There were so many little fun places to discover that I just really enjoyed being in. I don't know, it's always nice to be somewhere different and to discover things. There was this little shack a couple of feet away from our house called the Bird Store, where a bunch of different vendors sold crafts based off of the different birds native to the southern United States. I thought that was so fun, and I highly recommend anybody who visits North Carolina to visit it. Kill Devil Hills, baby. August was when the burnout hit, and I realized that I needed to take a long time to take care of myself. I fucked off from YouTube for a month. I instead focused on finishing up my job, packing for school. I dyed my hair and cut it, as most people do during a mental breakdown. I also got involved in another play. I was in The Miracle Worker, you know, that Helen Keller story. They needed somebody to play Helen's mom because the original person dropped out unexpectedly. So I ran over to the theater on the night that they were doing the cold reads and just signed myself up. It was a weird performance because I joined in so late and I had no idea what was going on, but it was worth it. I think I ended up doing very well, and it was overall a good show. Everybody who saw it thought it was pretty good. September, my beloved. The moment it hit September 1st, I immediately become an insufferable human being because it's fall. Also, my birthday is in the very first week of September, so I'm twice as insufferable for about 24 hours. Turned 21 this year. Learned very fast that I don't have a high alcohol tolerance. This was also the month that I went to the Renaissance Fair, had the time of my life, and I miss it, and I can't wait for fair season to start up again so I can dress up as a silly little fairy more often than I already do. Went back to school, took some cool classes this semester. What did I like the most? I liked my conducting class the most. I know it's kind of just waving your arms around, but I don't know, there's something very good sensory about conducting. It just made me feel good, you know? October happened and I went into productivity overdrive, I feel. With all of these Inktober prompt lists and Halloween all happening around the same time, I just kind of ascended into a different creative state of being for the entire month. I did a private creative writing project for my Inktober thing that I don't plan on sharing with anyone because it's only for me and a very niche audience. And I also made my Laudna costume, which is so far the most detail I've put into one single cosplay ever. And it really got me motivated to going full force into cosplay again. Like, I haven't felt this need to make clothing since like 2020. So if time may permit it, there may be more costuming videos in the coming year. Knock on wood. I think I had enough leftover motivation for November that I went into the month expecting that I was going to be a lot more productive than I actually was. The only thing that I ended up making was the digital circus bracelet, and I didn't like it all that much, and it kind of put a damper on my ability to go. But even though I didn't like it, everybody else apparently did. Who would have guessed that making a video about the most popular IP would get you views out the wazoo? December sure happened. I wish I could say that something big and exciting closed out the year, but that's not the case. A lot of personal stuff popped up in the first couple of weeks of the month that just made it really not great. My mental health is getting better, but wasn't in a good state for a little bit. And then the end of the month just kind of crashed. Literally. Thank God that's not gonna be incredibly expensive to fix. Luckily, I have the next couple of days to just take care of myself and recharge and hopefully get back in it with a better mindset. Now that we have all 12 of them, we can put them together in the little collage. Actually looks really nice in the frame. It's very professional. Oh, it cut out my signature at the bottom, but that's fine. It's probably not going to be given to anyone else, so they'll know it's me. Not entirely sure where I'm going to hang it right now. Probably somewhere in this basement. But I will figure that out in the coming days. Like, subscribe, do whatever you feel so inclined, and I appreciate. Every single one of you. I feel like I don't say that enough. Thank you. Happy New Year.